I'm Jeff Lyons. This is the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock tonight. What is it, Thursday, February the 26th. Are glad to have you on board here tonight. Remember, we stream every night at 9 o'clock with a full-length weather spectacular here for you and answer your questions, too, by way of the 14 News Facebook page. So if you have a question or comment, you know the drill. Go on there, put it in, and I'll check those during the program. We have a clear night out there. It is going to get kind of cold again, down into the middle 30s overnight. And then the cherry on the Sunday, tomorrow, we have a high temp in the mid 60s with sunny skies. Looks like Saturday will follow suit, but we will have a few more clouds out there than we will tomorrow. And then the daily rain chances, the gloom, comes back to play next week starting on Sunday. So not a lot to see here on the hour by hour, at least not through tomorrow evening. Saturday, though, you'll see a few clouds off and on here during the afternoon, maybe even a shower there, and then better chances of rain roll in on Sunday and will stay with us off and on through the remainder of next week, or at least a good chunk of it. And we get the cooler temps, too, back into the 40s. Keep in mind, it's just the start of March, so it's still, the normal high is only around 50 to 52. We will go well above that, though, as we get into Thursday and Friday. Maybe some thunderstorms in there. We're going to investigate that here in a second. I did want to show you the forecast high for Wednesday, and Thursday. Important to note here, it will be in the upper 60s, or at least the GFS is offering that temperature right now. And that will, Wednesday, Thursday time frame will be the warmest. The dew points are going to climb, and that may set us up for some thunderstorms. The other thing, of course, we look at longer range, and this, again, is a long-range model. So you know our disclaimer with those, things will change, but this is a snapshot of what the models are showing today. A little bit of energy in the atmosphere for storms, and a little bit of shear, perhaps, not a whole lot indicated right now on this particular graph. We look ahead here on Wednesday, a little more upper level wind here. This would be the low level jet, I should say, at, excuse me, about 5,000 feet, 850 millibars. So with that, you know, and a cold front coming in and a little warmer, moister, thunderstorms are certainly a reasonable expectation during Wednesday, Thursday. And I'm kind of waffling here on the day because, as I'll show you in a minute, the models are a little, they're not quite lined up on exactly when this would come together. Thunderstorm, supercell threat, kind of a proxy for that, showing the potential there over the tri-state. So, and tornado risk, you know, again, we're looking out many, many days. So I wouldn't get too worked up over this, but it does have at least some areas in there, not a lot, and mainly to our west, closer to the where the jet will be coming around that cold front based on what the models were showing today. So the bottom line here, before you ask, are we going to have thunderstorms next week? We could, Wednesday and Thursday. Whether they will be severe or not is still up for debate at this point, but at least we have some of the elements appearing in the models right now, 60s and dew points climbing and so on. We're at 43 right now, and temps around the area are in the 40s, as we expected. They will continue to drop tonight to around 35. We had a nice 57 today, 7 degrees warmer than normal, and we picked up a 1/4 inch of rain at Evansville Regional Airport. My rain gauge at home had about 1,500 hundredths in it. Most of you probably had somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/10 to 1/4 inch of rain, which is helpful, but we need a whole lot more. We are on this run now of dry or below normal rainfall months that began in November, and that's going to become more apparent, especially if we don't get some soaking rain next week, that drought conditions will become a little more widespread. The U.S. Drought Monitor updated today. More of Wayne County up here is now classified as severe drought, and more of southwest Indiana and southern Illinois in moderate drought, and then abnormally dry in the Evansville area. So if we get the rain we're thinking we will get next week, which I'll show you here in the model section, yeah, we could probably at least put a dent in that rainfall deficit. The main players on the board here through Friday and Saturday are high pressure, and then to our northwest we have another system kind of coming down there, almost like a clipper, that may bring a little rain in here Sunday, and then we get into next week. So let's talk about that. Now this is where we'll look at the GFS first, then we'll look at the European, kind of a sanity check, and compare and contrast. So this is Sunday night, and we are expecting rain to move in. The GFS continues to put some snow in there too, or at least a rain-snow mix potentially. But I think temperatures are going to be a little too warm for that to really make any difference. Then we get more rain on Tuesday. This will be along a warm front. And then through Tuesday, Wednesday, the next system moves in. Here's the low pressure. This is where the cold front would be aligned across Missouri and northern Arkansas. So out ahead of that, some thunderstorms possible. Remember the temperature I showed you there, around 65 or so, and higher dew points. So we would expect windy conditions to develop. And, the time of year and the setup there, the environment could be favorable for some thunderstorms. Thursday, then, that moves out, and we have more rain following on its heels on Friday. The total rainfall projection from the GFS model, quite wet there at almost 3 inches of rain. Now, that's for a 5-day period, so we're not going to get it all in one whack, but that gives you an idea that soaking rainfall, at least for now, is showing up in the GFS. Remember that number. Around 3 inches. Here's the European, Sunday night going into Monday, all rain through Monday morning, and then we get that break. We get more rain Tuesday. Again, that's consistent with the GFS. And Tuesday night into Wednesday, showing more of a warm front type scenario before we get into Wednesday afternoon. And this, I don't have the isobars turned on here, but this was depicting a cold front roughly from Champaign down here into Springfield, Missouri, and out ahead of it we would have the potential there for some thunderstorms and heavier rainfall. Remember, we said the GFS was hinting at 3 inches of rain for all of next week. Look at that, the European pretty close as well, around 2.5. Now, we can look at those numbers. It's, this is not the gospel, it's not ironclad, but both are pointing at a more significant rain event next week, or rainfall next week. 35 degrees tonight, clear and chilly, 64 tomorrow, and over the next 7 days we have rain coming up, a lot of it, through much of next week. Temperature-wise, we are staying above normal through the period, and wetter than normal too, based on what I just showed you. So everything kind of lines up there. Our pet pick tonight from Shelley Allman. This is Mary, the cat, looking out the window. It looks like a portrait there. She's actually looking at falling snowflakes. So Mary can give her glamour shot there. And while we're looking at Mary, I'm going to look at your questions and try to answer them if there are any that I can answer. Usually there are. I can come up with something. Okay, watching from Dawson Spring, we got Laura Gray on there, Cheyenne Hammonds. Good evening. Emma Rowland's on. Good evening. William Raleigh had 0.2 of an inch of rain in his gauge over by Bossy Field. All right. I guess have you been walking your dog over to Tesla, right? Over to see the demolition at the Chrysler plant. Kind of sad they're taking another old building down, but I guess that's progress. Suzanne Daly, glad the sun was out today. Me too. Zach Seats, good evening. While severe weather cannot be completely ruled out for Emsville next week, is the main threat heavy rain, flooding instead of severe weather? Well, that's a good question. I don't think, if the rain spread out, as I showed you, I don't think flooding would become an issue because the soil's pretty dry. It has capacity to absorb a lot of that rain. Now, with the cold weather, it might be frozen a few inches down or very cold, but I think all in all, we should be able to digest the rainfall. Okay. Jeff Miller had 0.2 of an inch of rain and no flash flood. All right. Shelley Allman, good evening. Jason Dodson, watching from Cloverport, over there in Breckenridge County, right? Jeanette Rice, loving the warm weather. Well, good. What's my gut weather forecast? My gut tells me I'm going to go to that place you recommended, Jeff Miller, for an out and about. In fact, if you call me after, call me in the weather office after I get off of here. Give me a couple of minutes to get back there. I had some questions for you before I go out there. I'm hoping to get out there next week. So we're not going to tell anybody else where we're going here. We want it to be a big surprise, but Jeff knows what he told me. But my gut for weather next week, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see some thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday. And, you know, you can't rule out severe this time of the year, especially with temperatures in the mid-60s. The machine learning model, you know, sometimes we show that the Colorado State MLP, CSU MLP, was showing a broad area where severe weather would be possible, and it included the tri-state. But the outlook zone was so huge, not a lot of skill involved. It's like, you know, shading in half the country. But anyway, the fact that it was lighting that up this far out, you know, I kind of made a mental note. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay? So anyway, if you can give me a ring there, Jeff, that'd be great. After the thing here, I'm not even in the weather office, so it'll go right through to voicemail. Okay. What do we have? Oh, Science Corner. We have one of those for you tonight. And you know, these days are getting longer in a hurry. If you've noticed, the sun's setting about a minute later each afternoon now, and it's coming up about a minute earlier. We're gaining roughly 2 minutes of daylight each day, well, give or take. It's not exactly 2, but it's noticeable out there. We talk about the sign, which is the angle of the sun above the horizon. And because of the Earth's tilt, you know, we get the 4 seasons based on where we are in the orbit around the sun. So the sun, you know, appears to be higher or lower in the sky. Today, for example, the sun set at, 5:41. But if we look, in March, we're going to pick up about another hour and 11 minutes of daylight. Now, that's at both ends. So the sun will set about a half an hour later and rise a half an hour earlier. Now, in the mix here, next Saturday night, we move the clocks ahead 1 hour as daylight saving time kicks in again. So now we're going to start seeing the sunset at like 6:50 in the evening. However, it'll start rising again at about 7:20. So it's going to be, it'll be earlier than that, like 7:15. But we are going to have some dark mornings right after we make that change. By April, it all comes out in the wash. We had another hour and 8 minutes of daylight. In May, the rate of adding minutes starts to slow down a bit, and then it stops here at the solstice, the first day of summer on the 20th of June, 20th or 21st. And then we have a net gain of 11 minutes in June, but we already start losing time then once we get into July, August, and September. So for now, anyway, the trend is for more daylight and hopefully warmer temperatures as that sun angle gets higher in the sky. The analemma, as we know here, all of our frequent flyers on the weather show, you're quite familiar with the analemma, I'm sure, but basically that's a picture of the noon sun looking south. This was taken at a higher latitude. But you can see that figure 8. So we've already traversed from the first day of fall down here to the first day of winter, and now we are right here on the way into the higher sun elevations there, and we will make it to the solstice on March the 20th, the first day of astronomical spring. Meteorological spring will start on Monday, or Sunday, the 1st of March. And at that point, the sun on the 20th will be directly over the equator, and then it continues to rise until it gets over the Tropic of Cancer there on the first day of summer. So we have lots to look forward to meteorologically and astronomically speaking. Jordan Zuber, what's happening on Red Bank? 9 or more sheriffs blocking the road. I do not know, but I'll tell you what I can do. I think if news is on it, I might be able to tell you something. I have to look and see if it came in here. I do not see anything. It could be anything. And I don't know where you mean on Red Bank. Is it on the Lloyd? Is it Upper Mount Vernon, Harmony Way, Broadway, Nurnberg Road? Somewhere on Red Bank Road. So if you'll chime in on that, I'll alert the news department, and hopefully they'll get somebody on that. Let's see. Shelly Allman, oh, you're on here. You got to see Mary back there. Yeah, that great looking cat. I'm still having cat issues at home. I've told you this before, and if you follow me on Facebook, you've seen the pictures of the weather cats. And after Betty died almost 3 years ago now, I got 2 cats, rescue cats, from the Humane Society, and spayed and neutered and all that. I had a boy and a girl, litter mates, and they're bonded. They sleep together, they eat together, they play together, they're inseparable. Well, when my daughter moved, she couldn't keep a cat, and so we inherited Penelope, this gray little Spitfire, and smaller cat than the other 2. Bobby weighs 17 pounds, and then Betty probably weighs, or Sissy weighs about 10. Okay, so they're, the girl cat's a little bit smaller. When we first brought Penelope over, the black cat, the 17-pound, bruiser, was terrified and made a big scene and ran off, scratched me, the whole thing. And Sissy burrowed in under our bed up. She pulled down the lining and got up under, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but anyway, got up under the mattress and wouldn't come out for this little cat. And and we tried doing it the right way, with the new cat in one room and the doors closed and they could smell each other and all that. It didn't really work. But what did happen was the big cat, the boy cat, Bobby, gets along just fine now with Penelope and their buddies. But Sissy, not so much. And so she's taken up residence in our basement in the workshop under the heating pipe down there. She's got a little nest. And Bobby goes and sees her, and then he comes up and, he's got a girl in every port. But I can't get the female cats to get along. They'll touch noses, they'll sniff each other, and then it's instant hiss and run. And I just can't understand why the resident cat, Sissy, isn't more assertive. She ceded her territory. So the new cat has the living room and the TV room, and then the hallway's kind of the demilitarized zone, and then all 3, of course, are in the kitchen because that's where the food is. And the 2, Bobby and Penelope, will sleep on the bed with me and my wife, but not Sissy. So, and it's sad, we want everybody to get along at our house. And I don't know what to do. Somebody said, rub a little fish oil on their fur, and then they'll lick it off and they'll like each other. Somebody else said to do the same with catnip. I haven't tried any of those things yet, but stay tuned. I'll let you know if I have any breakthroughs over there. Every time I think they're kind of getting along, then there's a big dust up at 3 in the morning. And then we're right back to square one. Well, anyway, that's my problems. Thank you for letting me share those with you. And I will put you back now to your regular programming here on the stream, and I will see you on 14 News at 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a good night.